The journey of the Magi begins with a question hanging in the night sky, just as the first stars shimmer into view. Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? The Magi ask. Their question echoes across centuries, inviting us into their journey, a journey written in the language of light. The Magi came from the east, seekers guided by a star. Not a random star, but a star that stirred something deep within them. Can you imagine that moment? One of them gazing up, catching the faint glimmer of something new and unexplainable, nudging the others. Look there, one of them might have said. And just like that, the heavens beckoned, speaking in the language of awe and wonder. The Magi, those strangers to the scriptures of Israel, somehow recognized the significance of this star. They carried with them the wisdom of ancient skies and the courage of those who dare to trust what they cannot fully explain. Their journey began not with certainty, but with a hunch, a holy curiosity. Isn't that how our own spiritual journeys begin? A glimmer, a nudge, a quiet whisper to go and see. Epiphany is a story about a star, but not only the one that led the Magi to Bethlehem. It's about every star that has ever existed, every star that has glimmered overhead, every star that has ever beckoned in our souls. It is about every star that has spoken to our hearts, weaving stories of wonder, mystery, and connection through time and space. Stars remind us of our smallness, but also of our belovedness, tiny specks in a vast universe, yet seen and cherished by the God who scattered the cosmos into being. Have you ever stood beneath a clear night sky and felt that ache of being both so very small and yet so very significant all at the same time? That's the language of the stars. They sing of a God who creates and calls us beloved. Now, I find myself wondering this Epiphany, if that feeling is what stirred within the Magi, if it is what made them leave home. It's not easy, after all, to follow a star. There's no map, no road signs, no guarantees. The path ahead could lead them into danger or dead ends. I wonder, too, did their neighbors think they were foolish, chasing after some celestial dream? Did they ever second-guess themselves as the journey stretched on? I imagine they did. How could they not? Yet somehow they kept going, trusting the star to guide them. This is the first lesson of the stars. Trust the light you've been given, especially when the path ahead is uncertain. Even when others don't understand, there's a deep, holy courage in following what we cannot explain. The Magi's journey reminds us that faith is often more about walking in trust than arriving at the answers. In the poem that we heard this morning, Joyce Rupp's "Old Maps No Longer Work," we encounter a woman setting out on a journey. Something has stirred in her. Something is calling her to set out. She turns to what she knows, her old ways, her old map to get there. But the lines are faint and no longer work for her. She doesn't know what she will find or even where she is going, but she knows she has to go. The poem reminds us that the spiritual life often calls us to release the maps we've relied on and to trust instead in the light that stirs within us. In her moment of despair, she cries out, "Whatever will I do?" "Trust me," her soul voice whispers back. "Trust me. There was a time before maps when pilgrims traveled by stars." That is what stars do. They teach us to trust in the divine compass placed within. And so, like the Magi before her, she begins her journey, a pilgrim of the stars. But not everyone greets the light with open hearts. Back in our story, in the story of Epiphany, when the Magi's question reaches Herod, He is trembling in his palace, shaken to the core. For Herod, a star is not a symbol of wonder, but of disruption. A new king threatens his fragile, grasping grip on power. Herod cannot follow the light because he fears what it will reveal. There is a cautionary tale here. How often do we resist the light because it might unsettle us? Stars, by their nature, shift our perspective. They ask us to lift our eyes and see beyond ourselves. But Herod clings to the shadows of his own making. How often do we, like Herod, reject the light because it demands something of us? Change, humility, or letting go of our own tightly held plans. The Magi, however, follow the star all the way to Bethlehem. And what do they find? Not a palace, not a throne, but a child, vulnerable and radiant. They kneel in reverence, offering gifts that seem both extravagant and strangely fitting. Gold for a king, frankincense for a god, and myrrh for one who will know suffering. The star had brought them not just to a destination, but to an encounter, to the holy mystery of Emmanuel, God with us. This is the second lesson of the stars. They lead us to wonder. They call us to see the sacred in the unexpected, to marvel at the ways God shows up in the world's most ordinary places. The Magi's journey speaks to the courage it takes to look beyond appearances, to see the holy not in grandeur, but in humility. Their gifts invite us to consider what we too might offer in response to encountering God in surprising places. What might it look like for us to kneel before the unexpected, to bring our own offerings of reverence, gratitude, and faith? I will wait for the stars, trust their guidance, and let their light be enough for me, we heard in the conclusion of the poem. A reminder that the journey to encounter the sacred is not about the clarity of the destination, but about the willingness to trust the light and remain open-hearted. The pilgrims of the stars teach us that when we follow the star, we are drawn into wonder, led not only to witness the divine, but to participate in its unfolding mystery. But the Magi's story doesn't end there. Warned in a dream, the Magi return home by another road. Their encounter with the Christ child changes them. This too is the work of the stars, transformation. When we follow the light, when we draw close to the sacred, we cannot leave unchanged. The Magi's journey home is a symbol of their new understanding. They had seen the light, and it had altered their path forever. On this Epiphany Sunday, let us consider the stars in our own lives. What light is calling to you right now? Where is God inviting you to follow, to wonder, to be transformed? Perhaps the stars are literal for you. Maybe you find God in the quiet of a night sky, tracing constellations and feeling the divine breath of creation. Or perhaps the stars take another form, a dream that won't let go of you, a calling that nudges you forward, a person whose presence lights your path. Friends, later this morning during the announcements, you will be gifted with a star of a different sort, a star word that contains within it a single word. These words are meant to serve as gentle guides, invitations to notice how God is moving in your life this year. This is a tradition done at many churches, one that I have brought with me from my previous parish. And I hope that, like the Magi who trusted the light of the star, these words may beckon you to explore, to wonder, and to journey deeper into the sacred mystery. Hold your word lightly and with curiosity, allowing it to unfold in unexpected ways. The Magi remind us that following the star is rarely easy, but it is always worth it. The journey may stretch longer than we expect, and the destination may surprise us. But if we trust the light, it will lead us to God. And like the Magi, we may find that the journey changes us in ways we never imagined. So let us go forth as stargazers and seekers. Let us lift our eyes and our hearts to the heavens, And when we see a star, whether in the sky or in the spark of another soul, may we have the courage to follow. For the stars are not silent. They sing of hope and guidance. They proclaim that God is here among us, illuminating our lives with holy light. Amen.